Close your eyes and imagine yourself floating gently above the endless expanse of our world's oceans. The surface shimmers like liquid starlight, hiding secrets that have slumbered in darkness for millennia. Beneath these tranquil waters lies a realm more mysterious than the deepest reaches of space, where ancient riddles drift through crushing depths and forgotten civilizations whisper their tales to the eternal tides. Tonight, we journey together into this liquid universe, where science meets mystery and questions outnumber answers. We'll explore 20 enigmas that continue to perplex our greatest minds, each one a puzzle piece in the vast mosaic of oceanic wonder. Let the rhythm of imagined waves carry you into this underwater dreamscape, where every mystery holds the promise of discovery. The ocean remembers everything. It holds the stories of our planet's birth, the rise and fall of continents, and secrets that may never fully reveal themselves to human understanding. As we descend into these mysteries, allow your mind to drift like a deep sea current, carrying you toward peaceful sleep. Mystery 1. The Bloop. In the summer of 1997, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, something extraordinary occurred. A sound emerged from the abyssal depths, a sound so powerful it was detected by hydrophones thousands of miles apart. Scientists called it the Bloop, a haunting, ultra-low frequency call that seemed to rise from the very heart of the ocean itself. The sound lasted for over a minute, its frequency dropping as it played, like the call of some impossibly massive creature taking its final breath. When researchers first analyzed the recording, they discovered something that sent chills through the scientific community. The sound profile matched that of a living animal, but the creature would have to be many times larger than a blue whale to produce such a call. For years, the Bloop remained one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. Theories ranged from unknown sea monsters to underwater volcanic activity. Deep sea enthusiasts whispered of ancient leviathans stirring in oceanic trenches, while marine biologists searched for any creature capable of producing such a sound. The official explanation eventually pointed to ice movement in Antarctica, the sound of massive glacial fractures reverberating through the ocean depths. Yet questions linger in the darkness. The ocean is vast, largely unexplored, and full of sounds we've never heard before. What else might be calling from the deepest places, where sunlight has never touched and pressure would crush any surface dweller instantly? As you drift toward sleep, imagine the ocean's symphony playing endlessly in the darkness below. Each sound a mystery waiting to be solved. Each call a story yet to be told. Mystery 2. Doggerland. The lost Atlantis of the North Sea. Beneath the waves of the North Sea lies a drowned world, a landscape that once connected Britain to mainland Europe. Scientists call it a Doggerland, and it holds secrets of a civilization lost to rising seas 8,000 years ago. This was no myth or legend, but a real place where our ancestors lived, loved, and built their lives. Doggerland was a vast expanse of forests, rivers, and grasslands. Mammoths roamed its plains, while early humans hunted along its shores. Archaeological evidence suggests a thriving Mesolithic culture, with settlements scattered across what is now the seafloor between England and the Netherlands. Fish bones, tools, and even human remains have been dredged up by modern fishing boats, silent witnesses to a world consumed by water. The drowning of Doggerland happened gradually, then suddenly. As ice caps melted at the end of the last ice age, sea levels rose inexorably. The final catastrophe may have come in the form of a massive tsunami triggered by underwater landslides off the coast of Norway, the Storegga Slide, as geologists call it. sent waves racing across the lowlands, swallowing entire communities in hours. What stories lie buried in the mud of the North Sea? What art, what innovations, what human dramas played out in those final desperate days? Sometimes fishing nets bring up fragments of worked antler or flint tools, each piece a connection to people who watched their world disappear beneath the waves. The mystery of Doggerland reminds us that the ocean is not just a place of future discovery, but a repository of our past. Every tide that laps against the shore carries whispers of those who came before, their footsteps now eternally washed by the sea. Mystery 3. Lake Vostok, the buried ocean. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice sheet, locked away from the world for millions of years, lies a body of water larger than Lake Ontario. Lake Vostok represents one of Earth's most isolated environments, a time capsule of ancient life preserved in perpetual darkness beneath 2.5 miles of ice. This subglacial lake was unknown to science until the 1970s, when researchers noticed something unusual in their ice-penetrating radar scans. The lake beneath the ice was liquid, kept from freezing by geothermal heat from the Earth's core and the immense pressure of the ice above. It had been sealed away from the surface world for an estimated 15 million years. The mystery deepens when we consider what might live in Lake Vostok's dark waters. Cut off from sunlight and the surface biosphere, any life forms here would have evolved in complete isolation. Early ice core samples hinted at the presence of microorganisms, but their exact nature remains unknown. Could there be entirely new forms of life, adapted to conditions unlike anywhere else on Earth? Russian scientists have drilled through the ice, reaching the lake's surface in 2012. But contamination concerns have limited what we can learn. The lake's ecosystem, if it exists, might hold clues to life's resilience and adaptability. Some researchers speculate that Lake Vostok could be a model for potential life on Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon. As you rest, imagine this hidden ocean, dark and still, holding secrets that predate human civilization. In its depths, life might persist in forms we cannot yet imagine, patient and timeless, waiting for the day when light might finally penetrate its ancient sanctuary. Mystery 4. Underwater lights. The ocean's Aurora. In the deepest trenches of the ocean, where crushing pressure and eternal darkness reign, something extraordinary happens. Lights dance through the water like underwater aurora, mysterious bioluminescent displays that have puzzled scientists for decades. These aren't the familiar twinkles of jellyfish or the steady glow of anglerfish. These are massive, coordinated light shows that span miles of ocean floor. Submersible pilots have reported seeing walls of light rising from the abyssal plains, pulsing in patterns that seem almost intentional. Some lights appear to communicate with each other, flashing in sequences that suggest intelligence or purpose. The phenomenon has been observed in multiple ocean basins, from the Pacific Ring of Fire to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. The mystery deepens when we consider the coordination of these displays. Individual bioluminescent organisms typically produce brief, isolated flashes. But these deep-sea light shows involve thousands, perhaps millions of creatures working in apparent harmony. What triggers such massive, synchronized displays? Are they responding to geological activity, chemical changes in the water, or something else entirely? Some researchers theorize that these lights might be connected to deep-sea earthquakes or volcanic activity. Others suggest they could be related to the migration patterns of unknown species. The most intriguing possibility is that these displays represent a form of deep ocean communication network, a biological internet operating in the planet's most remote regions. Recent deep-sea expeditions have captured footage of these phenomena, but the recordings raise more questions than they answer. The lights seem to respond to the presence of research vessels, dimming or changing patterns when disturbed. This suggests a level of environmental awareness that challenges our understanding of deep-sea ecosystems. Let your mind drift into those luminous depths, where creatures paint with light in the endless darkness, creating beauty that few human eyes will ever witness. Mystery 5. The Devil's Sea. Japan's Bermuda Triangle. Off the coast of Japan, in the waters southeast of Tokyo, lies a region that has claimed ships and aircraft for centuries. The Devil's Sea, known locally as the Ma no Umi, has earned a reputation as treacherous as its more famous Atlantic cousin, the Bermuda Triangle. But unlike that well-publicized mystery, the Devil's Sea has remained largely hidden from Western attention. Japanese folklore speaks of this region as a place where dragons dwell beneath the waves, pulling vessels down to underwater palaces. Historical records document the mysterious disappearances of fishing boats, military vessels, and even modern cargo ships. In 1952, the Japanese government sent a research vessel, the Kaiyo Maru No. 5, to investigate the strange phenomena. The ship vanished without a trace, along with all 31 crew members. The mystery involves more than just disappearances. Ships that do return from the Devil's Sea often report compass failures, electronic malfunctions, and crew members experiencing disorientation and lost time. Some describe seeing strange lights beneath the water or hearing sounds that seem to come from the ocean itself. Scientists have proposed various explanations for the Devil's Sea phenomena. The area sits above an active underwater volcano, Myojin-sho, which could create dangerous conditions for navigation. Methane gas emissions from the seafloor might reduce water density, causing ships to sink unexpectedly. Magnetic anomalies could interfere with navigation equipment. Yet none of these explanations fully account for all the reported phenomena. The Devil's Sea continues to challenge our understanding of oceanic mysteries. Local fishermen still avoid certain areas, following traditions passed down through generations. They speak of waters that seem to call to them, of depths that hide more than science can explain. As you rest, imagine those mysterious waters, where the boundary between the natural and supernatural seems to blur like mist on the morning tide. Mystery 6. The Yonaguni Monument. Atlantis of the Pacific. In the crystal-clear waters off the coast of Yonaguni Island, Japan's westernmost point, lies a structure that challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient civilizations. The Yonaguni Monument, discovered in 1987 by a local diving instructor, appears to be a massive stepped pyramid carved from solid rock, resting 75 feet below the surface. The structure is enormous, measuring approximately 490 feet long and 130 feet wide. Its surfaces are covered with what appear to be stairs, terraces, and ramps, all carved with geometric precision that seems beyond the capabilities of natural erosion. Some sections feature what look like ceremonial platforms, while others contain narrow passages and chambers that seem designed for human use. The mystery centers on the monument's origin and age. If it's artificial, it would have been built when the area was above sea level, during the last ice age over 10,000 years ago. This would predate known advanced civilizations by thousands of years, suggesting that human culture developed sophisticated architecture far earlier than previously believed. The implications would rewrite our understanding of prehistoric human achievement. Marine geologist Masaki Kimura has spent decades studying the monument, arguing that its features are too regular and purposeful to be natural. He points to tool marks, quarry sites, and what appear to be carved symbols as evidence of human construction. The structure's alignment with astronomical phenomena adds another layer of mystery, suggesting its builders possessed advanced knowledge of celestial movements. Skeptics argue that the monument is entirely natural, formed by tectonic activity and erosion over millions of years. They point to the brittle sandstone composition of the structure and the seismic activity in the region as explanations for its unusual appearance. Yet even they struggle to explain some of the monument's more perplexing features. Rest now and dream of ancient architects working in harmony with the sea, creating wonders that would survive the rising waters to mystify future generations. Mystery 7. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. The ocean's UFO. In June 2011, a Swedish deep-sea salvage team made a discovery that would spark years of speculation and debate. Using sonar equipment to search for shipwrecks in the Baltic Sea, they detected something extraordinary on the ocean floor. A perfectly circular object, 200 feet in diameter, with what appeared to be a 985-foot-long trail extending behind it, as if it had skidded across the seafloor. The Baltic Sea Anomaly, as it came to be known, resembled no known geological formation. Sonar images showed a disc-shaped object with angular edges and what looked like a staircase leading to a dome on top. The trail suggested the object had moved across the seafloor, gouging out sediment as it went. Most intriguingly, the object appeared to be made of materials unlike anything in the surrounding environment. When the Oceanic diving team finally reached the anomaly, they reported a series of strange phenomena. Electronic equipment malfunctioned as they approached the object. Satellite phones lost signal. The object itself appeared to be composed of unusual materials, with surfaces that seemed too smooth and regular to be natural. Some sections showed what looked like soot or burn marks, as if the object had experienced extreme heat. Samples brought to the surface revealed high concentrations of metals not typically found in that region of the Baltic Sea. The object's composition included titanium, iron, and other elements in proportions that suggested artificial construction. Yet dating the object proved impossible, as the materials showed no signs of radioactive decay that would indicate age. Theories about the anomaly range from natural geological formations to Nazi secret weapons to extraterrestrial craft. Some researchers suggest it could be a meteorite impact site, while others propose it might be remnants of ancient technology. The Swedish team has conducted multiple expeditions to the site, but each visit raises more questions than answers. Let your imagination drift to those dark Baltic waters, where something lies on the seafloor, holding secrets that bridge the gap between the known and the impossible. Mystery 8. Milky Sea Phenomenon. The ocean's glow. Sailors throughout history have reported a phenomenon so extraordinary that it seemed like something from a dream. Vast stretches of ocean would suddenly begin to glow with an ethereal blue-white light, creating what they called Milky Seas. These luminous waters would extend to the horizon in every direction, transforming the ocean into a celestial mirror that reflected the stars above. The phenomenon was first documented in scientific literature in 1915, when Captain Kingman of the SS Lima reported encountering a glowing sea that stretched for over 6,000 square miles. The ship seemed to be sailing through liquid starlight, with the ocean's surface emitting a steady, ghostly radiance that lasted for hours. Similar reports came from other vessels, describing seas that glowed so brightly they could read by their light. For decades, the Milky Sea phenomenon remained a mystery. Scientists struggled to explain how such massive areas of ocean could produce sustained bioluminescence. Traditional explanations for oceanic light shows, such as dinoflagellate blooms that flash when disturbed, couldn't account for the calm, steady glow reported by sailors. The phenomenon seemed to require a different type of organism and mechanism entirely. Modern research has begun to unravel the mystery. Scientists now believe that Milky Seas are caused by massive blooms of Vibrio harvei, a bioluminescent bacteria that can cover enormous areas of ocean. These bacterial colonies produce a continuous chemical reaction that creates the characteristic glow. Satellite imagery has confirmed several Milky Sea events, some covering areas larger than Connecticut. Yet questions remain about what triggers these spectacular displays. The bacterial blooms seem to occur in specific oceanic conditions, but predicting when and where they'll appear remains impossible. Some researchers suggest that climate change might be affecting the frequency of Milky Sea events, while others investigate whether these phenomena might be connected to deep-sea volcanic activity. As you rest, imagine sailing through those luminous waters, where the boundary between ocean and sky dissolves in a gentle glow that seems to emanate from another world entirely. Mystery 9. The Mariana Trench Sounds. Voices from the deep. 7 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean's surface, in the deepest place on Earth, something is making sounds that science cannot explain. The Mariana Trench, that vast chasm in the ocean floor that could swallow Mount Everest with room to spare, has become a source of acoustic mysteries that challenge our understanding of deep-sea life. In 2016, researchers lowered a hydrophone into the Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the trench, to record the sounds of this alien environment. What they captured was unlike anything heard before. A complex symphony of calls, clicks, and vibrations that seemed to echo through the abyssal darkness. Some sounds resembled whale songs, but pitched so low they were almost below the range of human hearing. Others were sharp metallic clicks that seemed to come from the trench walls themselves. The mystery deepens when we consider the source of these sounds. The pressure at the bottom of the Mariana Trench is over 1,000 times greater than at sea level, enough to crush any known surface-dwelling creature instantly. Yet something down there is making deliberate, patterned sounds that suggest intelligence and purpose. The calls seem to respond to each other, creating what researchers describe as conversations in the deep. Some scientists theorize that these sounds might be produced by previously unknown species of deep-sea creatures, adapted to survive in the extreme conditions of the trench. Others suggest the sounds might be geological in origin, created by the movement of tectonic plates or the flow of superheated water through underwater vents. The most intriguing possibility is that the sounds represent a form of deep-sea communication network, connecting creatures across the vast distances of the ocean floor. Recent expeditions have captured video footage of the trench's inhabitants, revealing bizarre creatures that seem to exist in defiance of physics. But the sounds remain unexplained, floating up from the deepest places on Earth like messages from another world. Close your eyes and listen to the silence around you. Then imagine the hidden symphony playing in the ocean's deepest reaches, where creatures sing in frequencies that span the cosmos. Mystery 10. The Sargasso Sea, the ocean's desert. In the heart of the Atlantic Ocean, bounded not by land but by 4 major ocean currents, lies one of the most mysterious bodies of water on Earth. The Sargasso Sea is a vast, floating ecosystem of seaweed that has puzzled explorers for centuries. Unlike any other sea, it has no shores, existing as an isolated realm of golden-brown sargassum that stretches across an area larger than the United States. Columbus and his crew were the first Europeans to encounter this strange sea during their voyage to the New World. They found themselves sailing through endless mats of seaweed, their ships slowing as they pushed through the thick vegetation. The crew grew fearful, believing they had entered an oceanic graveyard where ships came to die, trapped forever in the tangled weeds. The mystery of the Sargasso Sea lies in its unique ecosystem. The floating sargassum supports an entire community of marine life found nowhere else on Earth. Specialized crabs, fish, and other creatures live their entire lives in this drifting habitat, never touching the ocean floor thousands of feet below. The sea serves as a nursery for species that travel thousands of miles to spawn here, including American and European eels, whose life cycles remain partially mysterious. What makes the Sargasso Sea particularly enigmatic is its stability. While other ocean regions change with seasons and currents, the Sargasso Sea maintains its character year after year, century after century. The circular pattern of currents that contains it creates a natural boundary that has persisted for millions of years. Yet we're only beginning to understand how this ecosystem functions and why it exists in this specific location. Recent studies have revealed that the Sargasso Sea plays a crucial role in global ocean circulation and climate regulation. Its unique properties affect weather patterns across the Atlantic, and its health may be connected to phenomena as distant as Arctic ice formation and African dust storms. Let your mind drift into this golden sea, where life flourishes in the middle of nowhere, creating beauty and mystery in the vast blue emptiness of the ocean. Mystery 11. The Tao's Hum of the Sea. Underwater drones. Beneath the waves of oceans around the world, a mysterious sound persists. A low-frequency hum that seems to emanate from the water itself. Ocean researchers have documented this phenomenon in locations from the Pacific Northwest to the Mediterranean, describing it as a constant, droning vibration that penetrates deep into the water column. Like its terrestrial counterpart, the famous Tao's hum, this oceanic version defies easy explanation. The underwater hum was first systematically studied in the 1960s, when naval sonar operators began reporting consistent background noise that interfered with their equipment. The sound occurs at frequencies around 20 Hz, just at the edge of human hearing, and seems to be present in deep ocean waters worldwide. Unlike the calls of whales or the sounds of ships, this hum is constant, mechanical, and seemingly artificial. Marine biologists have ruled out most natural sources for the phenomenon. The frequency and consistency of the hum don't match any known marine life. Geological explanations, such as underwater volcanic activity or tectonic movement, fail to account for the sound's global distribution and mechanical qualities. Some researchers have suggested that the hum might be related to deep-sea industrial activity. But the phenomenon has been detected in remote areas far from human influence. The most intriguing aspect of the oceanic hum is its apparent intelligence. Hydrophone recordings reveal patterns within the constant drone, subtle variations in frequency and amplitude that seem to carry information. Some researchers have described these patterns as resembling digital communication protocols, as if the ocean itself were transmitting data through sound waves. Recent technological advances have allowed scientists to track the hum's source more precisely. The sound seems to originate from specific depth ranges in the deep ocean, often associated with underwater mountain ranges or deep-sea trenches. Yet when researchers investigate these locations, they find nothing that could obviously produce such a consistent, widespread phenomenon. As you prepare for sleep, imagine that constant hum resonating through the ocean depths, a sound that connects all the world's waters in a network of mystery that spans the globe. Mystery 12. The Bermuda Triangle's underwater pyramids. in the infamous waters of the Bermuda Triangle, where ships and aircraft have vanished without explanation. Sonar surveys have revealed structures that challenge our understanding of ancient civilizations. Deep beneath the waves, massive pyramids rise from the ocean floor, their surfaces smooth and angular, appearing far too regular to be natural formations. The underwater pyramids were first detected in the 1960s during military sonar mapping operations. The structures appeared to be enormous, some reportedly larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, resting on the seafloor at depths that would have been dry land during the last ice age. Their geometric precision and apparent artificial construction suggested they were built by an advanced civilization that existed before recorded history. Dr. Meyer Verlag, an oceanographer studying the region, reported discovering pyramids made of materials resembling crystalline structures, smoother than any known natural mineral formation. The surfaces showed no signs of marine growth or erosion, as if they had been recently placed on the ocean floor. Some structures appeared to emit a faint energy that interfered with electronic equipment, similar to the electromagnetic anomalies reported in the Bermuda Triangle. The mystery deepens when we consider the pyramid's possible connection to the region's reputation for disappearances. Some researchers theorize that the structures might be remnants of Atlantis or another lost civilization, possibly containing technology that affects navigation systems and communication equipment. Others suggest the pyramids might be natural formations created by underwater volcanic activity, their unusual appearance the result of rapid cooling and crystallization. Government agencies have shown little interest in investigating these claims, leading to speculation about cover-ups and classified research. The few independent expeditions that have attempted to study the pyramids have reported equipment failures and navigation problems that prevented close examination of the structures. Whether these pyramids are evidence of an ancient civilization, natural formations, or something else entirely, they add another layer of mystery to waters already famous for their unexplained phenomena. Rest now and dream of those silent pyramids standing sentinel in the deep, guardians of secrets that may never be fully revealed. Mystery 13. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch's living ecosystem. In the North Pacific Ocean, twice the size of Texas, floats a collection of debris that has become one of the ocean's most unexpected mysteries. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, while tragic in its environmental impact, has evolved into something unprecedented in Earth's history. A floating continent of plastic that has developed its own unique ecosystem. What makes this phenomenon mysterious is not just its size, but the life that has adapted to call it home. Marine biologists have discovered that the garbage patch has become a floating habitat for species that would never normally encounter each other. Creatures from different ocean basins have been found living together on the same piece of debris, creating unprecedented biological communities. The most intriguing discovery is the emergence of new species adapted specifically to life on plastic. Researchers have identified bacteria that can digest certain types of plastic, potentially offering hope for bioremediation. More surprisingly, they've found complex ecosystems developing on long floating debris, with specialized organisms that seem to have evolved to live exclusively in this artificial environment. The garbage patch also exhibits unusual oceanographic properties. The concentration of plastic creates microclimates within the patch, affecting water temperature, current patterns, and nutrient distribution. Some areas of the patch have become oases for marine life, while others have become dead zones where nothing can survive. Perhaps most mysteriously, the patch seems to be developing its own weather patterns. Satellite imagery shows that the garbage patch influences local atmospheric conditions, creating unique cloud formations and affecting rainfall patterns across the Pacific. The interaction between this artificial continent and natural ocean processes is creating phenomena that scientists are still trying to understand. The psychological impact of the garbage patch cannot be ignored either. Sailors who have crossed it describe a surreal experience of sailing through endless fields of human-made debris, a stark reminder of our species' impact on the planet. Yet within this environmental catastrophe, nature demonstrates its incredible adaptability, finding ways to create life even in the most unlikely circumstances. As you drift towards sleep, consider how the ocean transforms even our mistakes into something new, creating unexpected life in the most unlikely places. Mystery 14. The underwater river systems. Rivers within the ocean. Deep beneath the surface of the Mediterranean Sea, scientists have discovered something that shouldn't exist. Rivers flowing along the ocean floor. These underwater rivers, complete with banks, tributaries, and even waterfalls, challenge our understanding of how ocean systems work. The largest of these, found beneath the Black Sea, flows for over 600 miles and carries 22,000 times more water than the Thames River. The mystery lies in how these rivers form and maintain their distinct boundaries within the ocean. Unlike surface rivers, which flow due to gravity and topography, these underwater rivers are created by differences in water density. The river water is saltier and denser than the surrounding seawater, causing it to flow along the ocean floor like a liquid stream within a liquid ocean. These underwater rivers create unique ecosystems that support specialized marine life. The flowing water carries nutrients and sediments, creating underwater landscapes that resemble terrestrial river systems. Some sections feature underwater rapids, where the dense water cascades over underwater cliffs, creating spectacular waterfalls that exist in perpetual darkness. The discovery of these river systems has revealed that the ocean is far more complex than previously understood. Water masses with different temperatures and salinities don't simply mix uniformly. They maintain distinct boundaries and flow patterns that can persist for hundreds of miles. This has implications for understanding ocean circulation, climate regulation, and the distribution of marine life. The underwater rivers also serve as highways for deep-sea creatures, providing corridors for migration and gene flow between distant populations. Some species appear to have evolved specifically to live in these flowing environments, developing behaviors and adaptations that allow them to navigate the swift underwater currents. Perhaps most remarkably, these rivers may play a crucial role in global ocean circulation. The flowing water helps drive the deep sea currents that regulate Earth's climate, suggesting that these hidden rivers are essential components of the planet's climate system. Imagine floating above these invisible rivers, watching the ocean within the ocean flow silently through the depths, carrying the stories of distant shores to the deepest trenches. Mystery 15. The anomalous acoustic phenomena. Songs from the deep. Throughout the world's oceans, researchers have documented a series of unexplained acoustic phenomena that seem to follow no known pattern of marine life or geological activity. These mysterious sounds, recorded by underwater listening stations worldwide, include everything from metallic grinding noises to complex musical sequences that seem almost composed. The most famous of these anomalous sounds is the upsweep, a continuous sound that increases in frequency over time and has been detected in the Pacific Ocean for decades. Unlike biological sounds, which tend to be brief and sporadic, the upsweep maintains its pattern consistently, suggesting a non-biological source. Yet, no geological or human activity has been identified that could produce such a regular, long-lasting phenomenon. Another puzzling sound is the slow down, a gradual decrease in frequency that occurs over several minutes. The sound appears to originate from deep ocean trenches and has been detected simultaneously by multiple listening stations thousands of miles apart. The coordination required to produce such a widespread phenomenon suggests either a massive source or multiple synchronized sources. Perhaps most intriguing are the sounds that seem to exhibit intelligence or purpose. Researchers have documented sequences of tones that appear to respond to each other, creating what can only be described as underwater conversations. These exchanges don't match any known animal communication patterns and occur at frequencies and durations that suggest artificial rather than biological origin. The acoustic phenomena raise profound questions about what might exist in the ocean depths. If these sounds are biological in origin, they suggest the presence of creatures or ecosystems unlike anything we've discovered. If they're geological, they indicate processes occurring on the ocean floor that we don't understand. And if they're artificial, they point to technology operating in the deep ocean that remains unidentified. Some researchers have suggested that these sounds might be evidence of previously unknown forms of life, possibly existing in the extreme environments of deep sea trenches or underwater volcanic systems. Others propose that the sounds might be related to quantum effects in the ocean's deep layers, where extreme pressure and temperature create conditions unlike anywhere else on Earth. Let these mysterious songs from the deep accompany you into sleep. Their alien melodies providing a soundtrack to dreams of undiscovered worlds. Mystery 16. The Vanishing Islands. Ghosts of the Ocean. Throughout maritime history, sailors and cartographers have reported islands that appeared on maps for centuries, only to vanish without explanation. These phantom islands, documented by multiple expeditions and marked on official charts, have become one of the ocean's most enduring mysteries. Some disappeared between one voyage and the next, while others faded from existence over decades or centuries. The most famous of these vanishing islands is Bermuda, a small island that appeared on Spanish maps near the Yucatan Peninsula for over 400 years. The island was precisely located, described in detail by multiple explorers, and used as a reference point for navigation. Then, in the 20th century, it simply wasn't there anymore. Modern satellite surveys of the area show only empty ocean where Bermuda once stood. Similar cases exist throughout the world's oceans. The Buss Island in the North Atlantic appeared on maps from 1578 to 1906, described as a substantial landmass with distinctive features. Sandy Island, northeast of New Caledonia, was marked on charts and even appeared on Google Earth until 2012, when a research expedition found only deep water at its supposed location. The mystery deepens when we consider the mechanisms that might cause islands to disappear. Some phantom islands might have been formed by underwater volcanic activity, rising temporarily above the surface before sinking back into the depths. Others might have been created by massive accumulations of pumice or other floating volcanic debris that eventually dispersed. Climate change and sea level rise might explain some disappearances, but many phantom islands were reported to be substantial landmasses that shouldn't have been susceptible to minor changes in sea level. The precision with which these islands were located and described suggests they were real places, not navigational errors or deliberate fabrications. Modern oceanographic surveys have revealed that the ocean floor is far more dynamic than previously understood. Underwater landslides, volcanic eruptions, and tectonic activity can rapidly change the topography of the seafloor, potentially causing islands to rise and fall within human timescales. Perhaps most mysteriously, some phantom islands seem to reappear after being absent for decades or centuries. Sailors occasionally report sighting land where modern charts show only open water, suggesting that some of these vanishing islands might be intermittent phenomena rather than permanent disappearances. As you rest, imagine these ghost islands drifting through the ocean like dreams, appearing and disappearing at the boundary between reality and imagination. Mystery 17. The Deep Sea Gigantism. Titans of the Abyss. In the deepest parts of the ocean, where pressure would crush surface dwellers and sunlight has never penetrated, evolution has taken a strange turn. Creatures that are small and unremarkable in shallow waters grow to enormous sizes in the abyss, a phenomenon scientists call deep sea gigantism. The mystery lies not just in how these creatures grow so large, but why they need to. The deep ocean is home to giant isopods the size of footballs, spider crabs with leg spans of 12 feet, and tube worms that grow longer than school buses. These creatures dwarf their shallow water relatives, sometimes by orders of magnitude. The giant Pacific octopus, with arms spanning 30 feet, represents just one example of how the deep ocean seems to encourage enormous growth. Several theories attempt to explain deep sea gigantism. The cold temperatures of the deep ocean slow metabolism, potentially allowing creatures to grow larger than they could in warmer waters. The high-pressure environment might also favor larger body sizes, as bigger creatures can better withstand the crushing forces of the deep. Some researchers suggest that the sparse food resources of the deep ocean favor large creatures that can survive longer between meals. But these explanations don't fully account for the phenomenon. Recent discoveries have revealed deep sea creatures that seem impossibly large for their environment. The colossal squid, with eyes the size of dinner plates and tentacles covered in swiveling hooks, represents a predator unlike anything in the surface world. These creatures must feed on something, yet the deep ocean seems almost empty of the prey needed to sustain such giants. The mystery deepens when we consider the evolutionary pressures that might drive gigantism. In the deep ocean, where resources are scarce and encounters with other creatures are rare, why would evolution favor such enormous sizes? Some researchers propose that these giants might be relics of earlier evolutionary periods, survivors from times when the ocean was warmer and more productive. Perhaps most intriguingly, the existence of these giants suggests that the deep ocean might support more complex ecosystems than we've discovered. The energy needed to sustain creatures of such size implies food webs and ecological relationships that remain largely unknown to science. Recent deep-sea expeditions continue to reveal new giants. With each dive, researchers discover creatures that push the boundaries of what we thought possible in the deep ocean. The abyss seems to be a realm where life experiments with forms and sizes that would be impossible in the surface world. Dream now of these gentle giants moving through the eternal darkness, their massive forms graceful in the weightless world of the deep ocean. Mystery 18. The underwater crop circles, patterns in the sand. Off the coast of Japan, at depths where sunlight fades to memory, marine biologists discovered something that seemed to belong in a terrestrial wheat field rather than on the ocean floor. Perfect circular patterns, intricately designed with geometric precision, appeared carved into the sandy seafloor. These underwater crop circles, spanning 6 feet in diameter, displayed a complexity and artistry that challenged everything scientists thought they knew about deep-sea life. The circles were first observed in 1995 by divers exploring the waters around Oshima Island. Each pattern consisted of concentric ridges radiating from a central hub, creating mandala-like designs of stunning beauty. The ridges were perfectly spaced, the curves mathematically precise, and the overall effect was so symmetrical, it seemed impossible that any ocean creature could create such artwork. For nearly 2 decades, these mysterious patterns remained unexplained. Theories ranged from geological phenomena to unknown forms of marine life. Some researchers suggested the circles might be created by ocean currents or underwater volcanic activity. But the precision and repeatability of the patterns made natural explanations seem unlikely. The mystery was finally solved when researchers discovered the artist. A small pufferfish, no bigger than a human hand. Using underwater cameras, scientists watched in amazement as the male pufferfish spent days meticulously sculpting these elaborate patterns using only his fins. The fish worked tirelessly, moving sand grain by grain, creating ridges and valleys with architectural precision that would impress any human designer. The purpose of these underwater masterpieces is courtship. The circles serve as nests designed to attract females, with the quality of the construction directly related to mating success. The more perfect the circle, the more likely the male is to find a mate. The ridges and patterns also serve a practical purpose, creating calm areas where eggs can be safely deposited and protected from ocean currents. But questions remain about how such a small creature can create such precise patterns. The pufferfish seems to possess an innate understanding of geometry and physics that allows it to calculate angles, distances, and proportions with mathematical accuracy. This suggests cognitive abilities in fish that science is only beginning to understand. The discovery of these underwater crop circles reminds us that intelligence and artistry exist throughout the natural world, often in forms we never expected. In the quiet depths of the ocean, small creatures create beauty that rivals human art, driven by instincts we're only beginning to comprehend. Mystery 19. The Phantom Jellyfish. Ghosts of the Deep. In the deepest trenches of the Pacific Ocean, researchers have encountered jellyfish unlike any others on Earth. These phantom jellyfish, translucent and ethereal, seem to exist at the very edge of life itself. Their bodies are so transparent they're almost invisible. Their movements so slow they seem to drift like ghosts through the eternal darkness of the abyss. The phantom jellyfish were first discovered during deep-sea expeditions to the Mariana Trench, where they were found floating at depths exceeding 20,000 feet. Unlike their surface-dwelling cousins, these creatures show no signs of the typical jellyfish anatomy. They lack visible digestive systems, nervous systems, or any of the structures that biologists associate with complex life. Yet they move with purpose, responding to stimuli in ways that suggest awareness and intention. What makes these creatures truly mysterious is their apparent immortality. Research has revealed that phantom jellyfish don't seem to age or die from natural causes. They exist in a state of suspended animation, their metabolism so slow that they barely qualify as living by conventional standards. Some specimens appear to be thousands of years old, drifting through the deep ocean like ancient spirits. The phantom jellyfish seem to feed on something that science cannot identify. They're found in areas of the ocean where traditional food sources are virtually non-existent. Yet they maintain their ghostly existence decade after decade. Some researchers theorize that they might derive energy from chemosynthetic bacteria or even from the thermal vents scattered across the ocean floor. Perhaps most mysteriously, these creatures seem to communicate with each other through bioluminescent displays that are barely visible to human eyes. The flashes are subtle and brief, but they appear to convey information across vast distances in the deep ocean. Some researchers have suggested that the phantom jellyfish might be part of a communication network that spans the entire deep ocean. a biological internet operating in the planet's most remote regions. The discovery of phantom jellyfish has forced scientists to reconsider what it means to be alive. These creatures exist in a state between life and death, between substance and spirit, challenging our understanding of biology and consciousness. They remind us that life can persist in forms we never imagined, in conditions that seem impossible for any earthly creature. As you prepare for sleep, imagine these ghostly beings drifting through the ocean depths, ancient and eternal, carrying secrets of life that stretch back to the very beginnings of our planet. Mystery 20. The Singing Whales of the Deep. Songs without words. In the deepest parts of the Pacific Ocean, researchers have recorded whale songs unlike any heard before. These aren't the familiar calls of humpback or blue whales, but something entirely different. Complex musical compositions that seem to tell stories without words. The songs are so sophisticated, so rich in emotional content, that they challenge our understanding of animal intelligence and communication. The deep sea whale songs were first detected by military hydrophones monitoring submarine activity during the Cold War. The recordings revealed patterns of sound that were clearly biological, but followed musical structures more complex than any known animal communication. The songs lasted for hours, with themes that developed and evolved like symphonies, complete with movements, variations, and emotional crescendos. What makes these songs truly mysterious is their apparent narrative structure. The whale calls seem to tell stories, with beginning, middle, and end sections that build tension and resolve conflicts. Some recordings suggest that multiple whales collaborate in creating these musical narratives, with different individuals contributing different parts to the overall composition. The whales creating these songs have never been identified. They call from depths where most whales cannot survive, in regions of the ocean where food is scarce and conditions are extreme. Some researchers theorize that these might be unknown species of deep sea whales, evolved to live in the abyss and communicate through these elaborate songs. The emotional complexity of the songs is perhaps their most remarkable feature. The calls convey feelings that seem recognizable to human listeners: joy, sorrow, longing, and hope. Some recordings seem to describe the whales' experiences, their journeys through the vast ocean, their encounters with other creatures, and their responses to the changing world around them. Recent analysis has revealed that the songs might be more than just communication. Some researchers believe they might be a form of cultural expression, with different whale populations developing their own musical traditions that are passed down through generations. The songs might serve as libraries of oceanic knowledge, storing information about currents, food sources, and safe passages through the deep ocean. The discovery of these singing whales has profound implications for our understanding of consciousness and intelligence in the natural world. If these creatures are capable of creating art, of expressing emotions through music, then they possess inner lives far richer than we ever imagined. As you drift toward sleep, let these ancient songs carry you into dreams, their melodies bridging the gap between human and animal consciousness, reminding us that we share this planet with beings whose intelligence and creativity might rival our own. As our journey through the ocean's mysteries comes to an end, we find ourselves at the edge of an infinite frontier. These 20 enigmas represent just the smallest fraction of the secrets that lie hidden beneath the waves. For every mystery we've explored tonight, thousands more wait in the crushing depths, in the spaces between light and darkness, in the silence between sound and song. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet's surface, yet we have explored less than 5% of its depths. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the deepest trenches of our own world. Each dive, each expedition, each new technology reveals not answers, but more questions, more wonders, more reasons to be amazed by the liquid universe that surrounds us. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not any single phenomenon, but the ocean's ability to remind us of our place in the cosmos. In its depths, we find creatures that seem alien, phenomena that challenge our understanding of physics, and beauty that transcends our ability to describe it. The ocean is Earth's last frontier, a realm where the impossible becomes possible, and the unknown beckons with promises of discovery. Tonight, as you rest, remember that beneath the moonlit waves, these mysteries continue their eternal dance. The phantom jellyfish drift through trenches deeper than mountains are tall. The singing whales compose their symphonies in the darkness. The lights of the abyss paint their patterns on the ocean floor. And in the silence between heartbeats, the sea keeps its secrets, patient and eternal, waiting for the next curious soul to dive into its depths. Sleep now, and dream of the endless blue, where every drop of water holds a story, every current carries a mystery, and every wave whispers of wonders yet to be discovered. The ocean's mysteries are infinite, and in their depths, we find reflections of our own endless capacity for wonder, discovery, and dreams. Rest well, knowing that the greatest adventures still await in the vast, mysterious, and eternally beautiful realm beneath the waves.